TCU, Texas Christian. Sonny Dykes is back for his third season. Huge step back. I mean, as we know, he took the job, went to the Natty, got his ass kicked by Georgia, but he got there. Last year took a step backwards. Definitely a disappointing season. Chandler Morris loses his starting job. We'll get to that. They fired their defensive coordinator, Joe Gillespie. He's gone. They brought in Andy Avalos to coach the defense. He was recently just fired from the Boise State head coaching job. So Boise State's head coach is now the DC here at TCU. They are 39th in returning production, 16 returning starters. So a lot of production coming back for TCU. Most importantly, let's get it up on the screen, but most importantly, the quarterback, Josh Hoover, who they like a lot. If you don't follow Big 12 football, what happened last year was Chandler Morris was the starter, got hurt. Josh Hoover, the freshman, took over midway through the season, and his first start in place of Chandler Morris as a freshman, threw for 439 yards and 4 touchdowns. He absolutely set the world on fire as a freshman. And then Chandler Morris, even later in the season when he was healthy, just didn't get his job back. And that's why Chandler Morris is now on the Mean Green in North Texas, because this is Josh Hoover won this job. So they're excited about this kid. He's only a sophomore. They think they got their guy. Whether or not they do have their guy, that's up to you. But they think they have their guy here in Josh Hoover. Star running back's gone. Imani Bailey. He's actually on the Chiefs now. I think the RB1 is going to be Cam Cook. I don't know who that is, but looks like it's going to be the guy. Apparently they have
young guy, very highly recruited though.
Okay. Apparently they have 3 backs that are going to get carries this year, so they're going to split carries amongst the backs. 6 of the top 8 wide receivers are back, but they lost their star tight end, Jared Riley, who coincidentally is also on the Chiefs. So 2 members of the TCU offense are on the Chiefs now. And that's a huge loss. He actually led the team in receptions and touchdowns last year. Jared Riley, their tight end, was their main receiving target, and he's gone. So definitely huge loss there, even though most of their weapons are back. 4 starters gone from the offensive line. Holy shit. A couple of them all conference. These are big losses. Now, here's where it gets weird, and maybe Andy could shed some light here. Here's where it's a question mark. Their entire offensive line is through the portal. They had a center from Alabama, a guard from San Diego State, a tackle from Louisiana Tech, a guard from Florida State, a guard from Texas A&M. I don't know anything about these guys, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's said to be good from the people that I trust and we trust. It's said to be good, but they have to be. It could take a couple weeks. I mean, you can simulate all you want in spring and in your summer camps and everything. The first couple of weeks, this O-line needs to gel well. Otherwise, they need to stay healthy, but they also need to gel. Any team that's bringing in this many transfers, you obviously, like I said for the last team, coaches like their players, but it doesn't mean they're going to perform. So this O-line's a question to me as much as I trust Sonny Dykes, because I remember the year they made the national championship, their O-line was great. Now, their O-line sucked in the national championship, but they were great otherwise in every other game. This is a spot where now you're bringing in transfers. I trust Sonny Dykes as coach, but he didn't coach these guys last year, so we really don't know about this O-line.
Yeah, agreed. It's a huge question mark. Now, on the defense, TCU's defense last year wasn't good, obviously. I mean, actually, some of these numbers aren't bad. They're actually 9th in sack rate, 6th in pressure rate. Actually, maybe the defense is a little better than I thought. These numbers aren't nearly as bad as I thought they'd be, and personnel-wise, they actually did okay. I mean, they lost their best piece on the defensive line, Dominic Williams. He's on Oklahoma now. That sucks to lose him to Oklahoma. Well, actually, Oklahoma's not a conference rival anymore, though. Other than that, everyone's back. So they lose their best defensive lineman, but the rest of the line is back. They lost a couple linebackers, but kept a couple. Should be about the same as last year in the linebacking core. Only lost 2 DBs, brought a few through the portal. So the defense is a big question mark to me.
Yeah, they did bring in a linebacker from Cal who a lot of teams wanted. He was one of the better linebacker transfers, so that was a good addition. The guys in the back, I mean, they're loaded with transfers from Utah, Old Dominion, Memphis, Austin P, Tulsa, Nevada. I mean, could be good, could be a deep unit if all those guys hit. Obviously, it's very rare that all of them do, but they could hit. So, I mean, like the offensive line, question marks here, but I think I feel a little bit better when you get a highly recruited linebacker. That's definitely somebody who could lead your whole defense. We talked about it, I think, with NC State yesterday. They had one guy who like kind of was a guy, I think is Peyton Wilson. This guy could be that for them, like somebody who leads their defense.
Yeah. So we're going to play the win-loss game, but I can tell you straight up, I'm not placing a win-loss bet on TCU because there's just too many. The portal's tough with all these pieces coming in. So at Stanford, Probably a
It'd
win.
be a weird one, but yeah,
That's
they're
a
gonna win
fun
that
game for
one.
Friday
That's
night.
gonna be
That's
a
a fun.
10:30 Friday night game. That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Long Island obviously win. They
Didn't even know they had a football program. Respectfully.
Respectfully. Home against they get to avoid the bounce house.
That's a win, man. That I don't like that UCF team, so that's a win.
I'll okay, fine. I'm not giving. You think 3-0?
Yeah, I do think 3-0.
Okay, so after that, it's some downhill sledding. They lose 2 straight. Home against Houston.
It'll be a win. Houston's gonna be the worst team in the.
So that's 4 wins, 3 wins, possibly 4. At Utah, loss. Home against Texas Tech.
You can get Tech. They can get Tech. It's a rivalry game.
Who won that game last year?
Good question.
I'm looking it up right now. They lost to Texas Tech in Lubbock, so yeah, they'll get their revenge. Yeah,
good win. At Baylor, it's a rivalry game. We just said I think could be a win.
So yeah, they get Texas Tech. I'm with that. So how many wins is that? That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 Houston, 5 Texas Tech. At Baylor, they could win, even though that's a toss up.
They're not winning 2 of the next 3 though.
Yeah, this is under. But clearly, they have this number at 7.5. So clearly, we're a little bit off here.
Yeah. That's a brutal end of the schedule. Oklahoma State, Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised if you're like seeing them sneakily like in the top of the Big 12 standings. But once they get to those 2 or 3 games, I mean, they're gonna probably lose to Arizona and Oklahoma State by good amounts.
Doug Lane says Long Island has a football program. LMFAO. They'll be in the ACC. They'll be in the ACC in 3 years.
My college basketball mind was thinking. I'm like, I know they have a basketball team, but a lot of teams don't have football schools, and that's LIU.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone enjoy your Friday night. I'll be back tomorrow.